Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrooter.com with your morning one of these, your sip of coffee that's on the other side of this hotel room. Hey guys, great fun last night at the Bitcoin Ben meetup. Met at a Irish pub called Piper Down, talked about freedom, talked about the difference between proof of stake and proof of work and how to be a cryptocurrency used as currency, how important it is that you have a proof of work type of blockchain that is completely immutable, meaning you can't change it, such as Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, a few others, but not many. Anybody else claiming to be a cryptocurrency with the proof of stake, even Bitcoin Ben agreed, if it's proof of stake, it can't be a cryptocurrency. So we had a good debate. We were talking about Divi and all that stuff. Hopefully Divi will find a use case somewhere down the line that's not as a proof, as a currency, because it is proof of stake. All right. Thank you. My lovely assistant just handed me my coffee. Cheers. Anyway, thank everybody for coming last night. Great fun. Amy had a good time meeting everybody, and we gave out some coins and some music boxes. So yeah, come check us out when we come to your town. Come check us out. It was just so much fun. It was crazy, as you'll see in some of the comments of the live chat that was posted yesterday. So go to Road to Ruda or Bitcoin Ben's channel, and we posted part of the event live. I think we did take some music video too. Somebody was taking video, so we'll get that and put it up too. Played about half an hour worth of crypto songs. It's very fun. All right, here's what's exciting for all you silver bugs out there. Check it out. Silver and gold on the move, but look at the silver run. Up 3.27%. That's huge for silver if you silver people are paying attention. Back up to 18 bucks. Why is it so important? Because the banks lose $1 billion for every dollar that silver goes up on their short position. Remember, the banks are the big gorilla in silver and in gold, but mainly silver. So a move up of 57 cents. That's $570 million that the banksters lost, or in the process of losing right now, which is really cool because they are criminals. They belong in jail. Jamie Dimon rigs the silver market lower for 10 years, takes all the physical out of the market. They have over 1 billion ounces of physical silver in their warehouses now. And Jamie Dimon says he's doing everything by the book, which he probably was, because the CFTC is a criminal organization. Probably one of the reasons silver's moving up today is this statement of Commissioner Brian Quintes in support of the proposed rule on position limits before the Open Market Commission meeting tomorrow. So Ted Butler, myself, David Morgan, anybody in silver has been screaming at the CFTC to put in position limits, meaning you can't have JP Morgan going in there as a big whale and shorting everything to keep the price down. Screaming about it for a hell of a long time. And tomorrow they're going to vote on it. But here's the big but, and there's always a big but when it comes to the CFTC, a criminal organization, by the way. We do not need regulators. Manipulation is fine in a market. In a free market, manipulation happens all the time. Problem is that the CFTC comes in and says it's a freely traded market because they're there, and it is not. It hides the truth from people. The truth is, people should be wary of something like the COMEX and the LBMA. They shouldn't just go in there and buy it. But because the CFTC and the regulators are watching over the market, they feel, oh, everything's fine, and this is just the way it trades. It's complete bullshit. So take the regulators out, a hell of a lot less people will be playing these derivative markets because they're criminal. It's like going to Vegas. You're pretty much guaranteed to lose your money. The house always wins. And with the CFTC and the COMEX, also known as the CRIMEX, the house always wins. We'll see about this time because the banks are short. They've been short for probably since the development of this computerized market back in the early 70s. That's how far back the CFTC goes. So anyway, real interesting that tomorrow they're voting on this rule. So I read through the rule. And of course, the CFTC is just patting themselves on the back. Oh, yeah, we're really doing it. There's 5 proposed rules. All they got to say is no more than 5,000 contracts for anybody, JP Morgan included. and HSBC and Deutsche Bank. No more than 5,000 contracts, which is a hell of a lot of silver. Every contract is 5,000 ounces. Of the 5 proposed rules, the proposal is the most true to the CEA in many significant respects. Listen to this. Now, first of all, listen to what he says at the beginning. We all know that like 90% of the trades are done by the banksters. But listen to what he says about the market. Today's proposed rule promotes flexibility, certainty, and market integrity for end users, farmers, ranchers, energy producers, transporters, processors, manufacturers, merchandisers, and all who use physically settled derivatives to manage risk in their exposure to physical goods. The proposal includes an expansive list of enumerated and self-effectuating bona fide hedge exemptions and streamlined exchange-centered processes to adjudicate non-enumerated bona fide hedge exemption requests. Complete bullshit. Where in that list is the number one player in these markets? The banks. Let me read it again. Farmers, ranchers, energy producers, transporters, processors, manufacturers, merchandisers, and all who use physically settled derivatives. They don't mention banks at all, and 99% of the trades are banks trading back and forth to each other to rig the market. It is insane who these people are. They are criminal. They're either really stupid, and a lot of people say they're just stupid. And people like Michael Dunn, the CFTC commissioner, he was bona fide stupid. That's why they took him out of the CFTC and they put him at the DTCC vault in New York, 55 Water Street, 2 months before Hurricane Sandy hits, and he leaves the door open for them and floods all the $33 trillion worth of contracts at 55 Water Street held by the DTCC. Oh my God. And then they pump the water out, and what do? They set it on fire just to make sure that those important contracts that would have lost the banksters billions, trillions of dollars are completely gone. It is insane what these criminals get away with. That's how long I've been doing this. So I read through this whole thing, and there's all kinds of exemptions, and I guarantee you JP Morgan and friends are going to get those exemptions. And they're trying to promote liquidity. Are you kidding me? 500 times the amount of silver that is mined every year is traded. 500 billion ounces of silver is traded every year in the volumes of the COMEX and the LBMA and the other silver derivatives. SLV is a silver derivative, folks. Please understand that. It is not real silver. It is a silver derivative that's traded on the stock market. It's ridiculous. So 500 times what comes out of the ground trades every single year. 500 billion ounces trades every single year on these criminal derivative exchanges. We don't need liquidity. We need liquidity in the real thing, physical. Get your physical, stick it in your pocket, and walk away from these criminals. You guys should be very happy that silver price is $18 because you can still buy it. Wait till it hits $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 an ounce. Wait till it goes 1-to-1 with gold. And that will happen in a freely traded market. It won't happen while the CFTC is watching over it, but it will happen in a freely traded market. And as these banks lose $1 billion every dollar that silver goes up, you're going to see some die by the wayside. Bye-bye. And that's what JP Morgan's afraid of. Now, they're hedged, obviously, because they have $1 billion in physical, and they're actually shrinking their short position while the other banks are trying to control the price and are increasing their short position. JP Morgan has double-crossed the other silver rigger banks, which would be, obviously, Deutsche Bank, HSBC, Canadian Bank, just a handful. There's only 7 of them. JP Morgan's one, and they're flipping their position. They're going long silver, and they have the backup physical silver. So that would put us down to 6 banks that split that $1 billion loss, but they're not closing out their position. That's the best thing, and I don't think they ever can. Because when they close out their position, who's going to be the seller on the COMEX? Nobody. The only sellers are these criminal, crazy banks. And what happens when you have all buyers and no sellers? Boom, you get your moonshot. I don't know how it's going to go down, but it ain't going to be fun. And this is all about trying to change the regulations in the future. But there's so many loopholes in this. And just changing the position limits doesn't change anything. If you want to change the silver market to be a freely traded market, it's very simple. Go to roadtoroot.com. I'm talking to all the 5 commissioners on the CFTC board. Go to roadtoroot.com. I know your buddy Bart Chilton already did that and proposed all 17 for the commissioners. They laughed at it. They said, we can't do that. You're going to have to do it. If you want people to participate in your market, it's got to be truthful and it's got to be honest. And these at the Road to Root, go to roadtoroot.com, go to the search function, type in silver manipulation solution. 17 requirements for a freely traded silver market structure. I wrote this years ago. And all they did is number 1, end excessive concentration. And I said the size of the positions held and traded in silver derivatives should be realistically in line with the physical metal available. Enforceable regulations should be designed to both end the current manipulation and remove potential for future manipulations using concentrated positions. This change of the concentration positions, that's just number 1. Look at the 17. Require public position disclosure so we know who is doing what. These markets are so criminal and so hidden. And I know all the traders out there, I'm not going to tell my position. Screw you, you're rigging the prices. It should be known publicly that JP Morgan has X amount of silver contracts short, X amount long, every single bank, all positions. If you want a truly free market, you got to tell everybody who's got what. Number 3, verify physical metal backing, as in verify, as in go and do assays on every single bar that's traded and make sure they're there and they're real and they're not just molybdenum coat, silver coated molybdenum, which is almost impossible to tell the weight difference. You can tell visually they look different, but the density and weight, it's really close. Number 4, a physical reconciliation audit. We need to know how much silver is in the world, just like we need to know how much gold. We need a global recount. I hear Cliff told me years ago that they were doing that. They were actually even going to the mines to find out how much is really in the ground. But who knows if they're going to do anything with it. Analyze significant price action. Absolutely. You can go to roadtoroot.com. I'll tell you why. In 2011, the price of silver went from $20 to $50 and then back down to $20. It was very easy. And I sent all that data to the CFTC. They did nothing about it. Why? Because it was Bill Daley, Jamie Dimon's head of his SWAT team, was put as Barack Obama's chief of staff to do just that, to control the silver market and create an artificial bear market in silver, which they did. Audit, verify, and certify approved warehouses. Trusting JP Morgan to hold COMEX warehouse silver and the silver from SLV is like trusting Al Capone to hang on to your gold and silver and booze. It is insane. The biggest criminal is the one that is the approved warehouse of the CFTC. That's ridiculous. Audit, verify, and certify physical metal hedges. You know the biggest hedger in silver is? The U.S. Mint. Why? And when the mint runs out of silver to make the silver eagles, they still have their hedges on. Those are naked hedges. There is no way, and who's it run by? It was run by HSBC, probably JP Morgan now. They stopped disclosing who has the silver hedge. But it's your government participating in the silver manipulation. Remove ETF, physical substitution. The insane thing about holding an ETF is they allow shorts on an ETF. An ETF, they're supposed to, for every share issued, there's supposed to be an ounce of silver in the SLV ETF, right? Well, how can you short? It's not a stock, it's an ETF. You're depositing a physical, whoever owns with shorts, every short means someone else who deposited money to buy a share. The physical share was put in the vault, JP Morgan's vault, and somebody shorts it. That person who invested in silver has no silver because someone else shorted it, naked. They're using that silver. They're using your silver. Get out of the ETF. Number 10, investigate collusion between large traders. We already know. Now there's RICO charges on the table. We already know they colluded. Number 11, compare volatility to supply and demand dynamics. The silver supply and demand story, it doesn't fluctuate more than 5%, except the price fluctuates 50%, 100%. That's market rigging, my friend. It should be a very boring market. I gave this speech at the Silver Summit years ago. Number 12, employ experts to regulate gold and silver markets. The idiots at the CFTC, I've talked to them on the phone. They are stupid. I'm sorry, CFTC, you're a bunch of freaking idiots. Complete idiots. Why not go to Ted Butler and say, hey, you're the silver expert. Why not go to David Morgan? I'll even go into the CFTC offices and show them how manipulation works. Ted Butler's been sending you every article he ever wrote, pointing out this is manipulation, this is manipulation, this is not manipulation, this is manipulation, but you're too stupid to ask him for help. Why? Because you run cover for the criminals. Employ experts to regulate gold and silver markets. Again, Ted Butler. Engage outside expert consultants. Again, Ted Butler. Yes, the CFTC doesn't pay much money, so you don't get the smartest people in silver there. I get that. You could pay, Ted Butler said he'd do it for free. He'd go show you how manipulation works for free. He's even been in your offices, explained it to Bart Chilton for free. And you refuse to do anything about it. Control gold, silver derivatives. Absolutely. The most insane part of this whole debacle is the outside gold and silver derivative complex that dominates the trading activity of a very small physical market, especially in silver. The silver market is tiny, tiny market, except 500 billion ounces of silver. In the entire history of, as far as we know, the history of planet Earth, only 60 billion ounces of silver has ever been mined. Except every single year, 500 billion ounces trades hands to set the price. What don't you get about manipulation? Ban high-frequency computer trading? Absolutely. With physical commodities, you should not have any high-frequency trading allowed. Any. But Bix, you don't understand. That's not the way these new high-tech markets work. We like the liquidity. The liquidity is not physical silver liquidity. It's derivative liquidity to facilitate price rigging. 16, daily volume limits and public disclosure. I've been saying this for years. Right now, on the CFTC, on the COMEX, they're required to report the end-of-day close, what their position is. Well, there's no limits, but that's coming, right? They don't talk about how much they trade every year, every day, every single day. So JP Morgan may have a 200, 300 million ounce silver short position that they claim at the end of the day, but during the day they might trade billions of ounces of silver because they don't have to report it during the day. It's insane. And then finally, CFTC employment restrictions. The revolving door between U.S. regulators and the Wall Street firms they are supposed to be regulating is one of the most egregious travesties of justice ever perpetrated on the investing public. The CFTC commissioners and legal staff are clearly as guilty as senior members of the SEC. CFTC employees should not be able to work for or be associated with any company or commodity they regulate for at least 10 years before and after their employment at the CFTC. You put in these 17 things right here and you've got a freely traded market. If you don't put them in, you're going to get the biggest crash ever seen in mankind, and that's what we're headed directly for because the CFTC has had this for over 10 years. Bart Chilton was saying, hey, why don't we implement this? And they laughed him off the stage. That's not the way things are traded around here. These are high-tech, very important financial markets. Bullshit. These are criminal markets. It's very sad. All right, jumping off my high horse. That's it for roadtoruda.com. Hey, if you want to join the Road to Ruda private road, hit subscribe today. I will send you one very important token for our future, and a silver Ruda coin. Go check it out. Double stamp with luster. There's Ruda jumping up and down on the silver brick road. Little cave of gold there in the canyon wall. Really cool stuff. This is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you guys later.